All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Orange County Education Economic Development Committee for Friday, October 20th, 2 p.m. starting time. I would ask that everyone please silence your cell phones, other devices, and so forth, so as not to interrupt the meeting. Copy of this agenda can be found on our website at orangecounty.com under the legislature. And I would ask at this time, we please stand for a moment of silence. Ask Legislator Pat Jones to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we got a pretty full agenda today, so we're gonna go as expeditiously as possible. First up, I have Dr. Christine Young, President of Orange County Community College, and Paul Martland, the Vice President of Admin and Finance for Orange County Community College, to discuss their 2024 capital plan. May I have a motion and a second? Okay, Donald? Oh, I'm sorry. And Kelly, attendance, please. Thank you.
Daniel.
Here.
Lujan. O'Donnell.
Here.
Ramos. Here. Skevich.
Here.
Massey.
Here.
Stephen. Here. Anita.
Here.
Seven present.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, and as you can tell, President Young was not able to be with us today, so I am here along with Corey Dawkins, our Director of Facilities. And what we will do is I will turn it over to Corey to explain the facilities-related projects that are in the capital plan. And our CIO, Leland Hack, is on vacation this week, so I will give you the highlights of the IT component that's on here.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So we have 6 projects that we want to present to you guys today. Initially, there were 7 projects. One of the projects has been withdrawn. This was the George Shepherd Air Handler Phase 1 project, which was combined with 3 other projects. So we will just be discussing 6 today. All right, the first project is the George Shepherd patio renovation. The estimated budget for this is $300,000. We are going to replace the entire front entrance section of the Shepherd building. We were recently cited by PESH to get the repair work done. However, this had been in our capital plan for several years. So we were we had identified that it was an issue. We were addressing it. When PESH came by to see us a couple months back, we have made some temporary repairs and we submitted the information to PESH. So we should be fine in terms of their concerns. What we will be doing is the access ramp, the brick retaining wall, and the handrails will all be replaced. They're original to the building, which was built in 1973. There is currently uneven concrete slabs, rusting banisters, settlement, and uneven brickwork. The new project will also include some ADA accessibility upgrades, and we will also do some work to the entrance of the building. The next project is a Harriman Hall drainage and repair upgrade project. The estimated budget for this is $350,000. Currently, there is water leaking through the foundation wall, causing long-term humidity, mold, and structural issues to the first 4 classrooms. Harriman Hall is one of the original campus buildings built in the early 1960s. The project involves excavating around the exterior walls, rebuilding and waterproofing the cinder block frost wall. We'll also install some perimeter drains on the inner campus wall to move water away from the building. All right, our next project is safety and security camera upgrades. This is phase 2 in Newburgh and Middletown. The estimated budget for this is $630,000. Phase 2 encompasses the replacement of the balance of the cameras that we didn't replace in phase 1. In phase 1 was servers and some limited camera replacements as well. So there's a total of 440 new cameras that we want to install on both campuses. The Middletown campus will be replacing 210 cameras. All of the cameras are over 10 years old. And we'll also install 20 additional cameras in areas that don't currently exist. Over in the Newburgh campus, we're replacing 180 cameras. Again, these are 10 years old as well. And we'll also add 30 additional cameras in areas that currently don't have cameras. The next project is the electric car charging stations project. The estimated budget for this is $325,000. In support of the college's sustainability master plan and climate goals, we would like to install up to 8 charging stations in various locations around campus. These areas were identified by our NIPA energy audit that we had about a year or so ago. We will be installing level 2 40 amp chargers as well as level 3, which are 100 amp DC fast chargers. The budget will cover equipment and installation, and the chargers will be available to the campus community. Anyone can use them. We will also install chargers that support the college's migration to electric vehicles. We're looking in the future to purchase some electric vehicles, beginning with security and now we're shipping and receiving vehicles. The next project is the sprinkler system upgrade in the Middletown Lab School. The estimated budget for this is $250,000. We will be replacing the dry fire suppression system and piping in the lab school. As you know, the lab school is our child care center, which services the campus community. The system components are failing. We have pipe wall corrosion, and the compressors are also failing, causing unacceptable downtime and equipment replacement. We are installing a nitrogen-based system which resists corrosion and will provide increased system reliability. I think the last time I presented this project, someone here had a question about the nitrogen-based system. And I reached out to one of our sister schools, SUNY Albany. They also have a nitrogen-based system in their IT center. They've had it for 10 years, and it's solved all their corrosion and moisture issues. So there is some history out there of SUNY schools using it. So I think this is definitely the way to go for us. The last project is the IT long-term equipment replacement plan, and Paul will discuss that.
Okay, we put this in for $800,000. And we didn't just, pull that number out of the air. As everyone is aware, cybersecurity is an existential issue for the college that can put us out of business, as we have seen with other folks that have had problems. And you're all familiar with what happened in the Long Island County that got hit. So this is designed really for two things. One, to have a predictable replenishment plan for our PCs, for our classroom and conference room technology, and for our network Wi-Fi and uninterruptible power supply. We, as some of you may recall, some years back had to come to the county for a large infusion of cash to upgrade IT things at that time. This was prior to my being here, but it was told it was mid 2015, 16, something like that. Since then, we have, that all that stuff was done at once. It's all deteriorating at the same rate. We want to get away from having these periods of no investment and then periods of huge investment in replenishment plans. And so our IT group, it's really unfortunate Leland is not here because he did an outstanding job in putting these plans together for each of the three groups. And in each case, they've identified all the existing devices, all the existing users of all the equipment. They've identified a strategy to upgrade equipment to meet our current and future needs. They've spec'd out specific equipment with firm pricing as of where we are now. And they've spread the cost over whatever the appropriate replacement cycle is. So for the PCs, we're using 5 years, which is not, best practice, but it's at least better than where we have been, where we were probably on a 7 to 8 year cycle. The network and Wi-Fi equipment, most of that is a 7-year replacement plan based on the nature of the equipment. And the uninterruptible power supplies are on a 9-year plan because of the nature of that equipment. The classroom and conference technology is also on the 5-year plan. So in scoping all of this out, the projection is for the PC replacement. In year 1, the cost would be $550,000. By year 5, we would have it down to about $450,000 a year, because as we're upgrading equipment, we're not providing duplicate equipment. You know, we're not providing a desktop and a laptop to somebody. We're adopting laptops with docking stations and monitors to be used in the offices, but they are available for remote work, you know, should we ever have another incident like we had with COVID. So as I said, in each case, these plans are well thought out. So the dollar amount, 550 down to 450 for PCs, about 115,000 a year for classroom and conferences, and about 123,000 a year for the network Wi-Fi UPS replacement plans. So I recognize that this is a large nut, and it's an ongoing large nut. But I think by doing it through the capital process, we have the benefit of being able to plan with some certainty as to what we would be getting. And we both enjoy the fact that our friends at the state would be paying for half, as opposed to if we do it out of the operating budget, we don't know whether it's going to be there every year. And effectively, the state only pays 22% of our total operating budget, as you are all well familiar. So that's why we chose to go this way. When we made the presentation to the Capital Committee back in June, there was support expressed by the general services folks and the IT folks here that you were faced with exactly the same dilemmas in your county IT operations and have had to invest, you know, significant sums. But as I said earlier, this is something that can put us out of business if we don't do it right. So I think this is a major step for us. And one other comment on one of the projects, the one about the electric vehicle charging. There are quite a few grant opportunities out there to cover that particular type of investment. We will explore those before asking for any actual money from the county to implement those. If we can get them paid for by a third party, we certainly will.
And that's a very good point. Sorry for leaving that out. If we are actively looking for grants. We are partnering with a number of different private companies, and as well as GM, believe it or not. So if something comes through, which we hope it will, we will not be spending the county's money.
Thank you. Very concise. Anybody have questions? Comments, concerns? No? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, next on the agenda, item number 2, Alicia D'Amico, Director of Operations, and Michael Stanley, Director of Weights and Measures, Department of Consumer Affairs for the 2024 budget review. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Thank you very much for Joan and Senanga. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Good afternoon. How's everyone today?
Good to see you.
Just in case everybody didn't get the email, I just wanted to say for the consumer affairs budget, we have no contractual increases. And the only changes you're going to see are in personal services by budget that have been taking place. We have our workload measures. This continues to be a very busy department, small but mighty. And we're happy to answer any specific questions that you have on any line items that stand out.
Okay, thank you. Hearing that, are there any questions, comments, et cetera? Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion? All in favor?
Aye. Sure.
Yeah. But happy nonetheless.
What happened when I told Jimmy before the meeting?
There you go. That helps, huh? Thank you.
All good. Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
it. Good afternoon.
All right, item 3 on the agenda, we have Amanda Dana, Director of Tourism for the 2024 budget review. These are pages 428 and 437 in your budget catalog, and may I have a motion and a second.
I'll make that
Motion
motion.
by Joan and Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, thank you.
Moving right along.
I wanted to just talk about a couple of items on the budget for 2024, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The budget saw an increase of 8.76%. Some of the highlights of the budget is a modest increase in equipment expense, expanded four-season campaign investment, increase in the travel trade show footprint, and plan for technology.
Okay.
I'll take questions.
All right. Questions, comments?
Question or comment?
Let's see what it says.
I know that, first of all, thank you for all the great work that you do. I was fortunate enough to attend the economic summit that Steve Grossi put together. Can you tell the committee the economic impact in dollar amounts to Orange County through tourism?
Yes.
Astounding.
Yes, thank you. The visitor spending in 2022 was $1.1 billion, according to the Oxford Economic Study, of which our lion's share is retail, as you can imagine, which that is very common as our engine in the South, followed closely by food and beverage, which takes up another lion's share of that. But overall, we saw greater numbers in 2019, which is always a great indicator.
I think the young man, Justin was his name?
Josiah.
Josiah predicted $2 billion impact coming, we're on that threshold there. So my point is that your budget, if anyone were questioning the dollar amount, is worth every penny.
No one else? Legislator Pageant.
Thank you, Chairman. Amanda, thank you for coming here today and all the information you provide us. Can you talk real quick about hotel, motel occupancy, and the bed tax and how that impacts our county budget?
Sure. So we, the tourism department is approximately about 44% of the collected bed tax. It goes towards the administration and marketing for the tourism and film department. We have seen a steady increase in our bed tax since its inception, 2000, what was that, 9, 10? I'm not too sure about that, but we saw a steady increase except for COVID, which we saw a dip. But since then, you were there for that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I was not, so thanks for bringing that to my attention.
So we saw a dip in 2019, 20, and then we saw a steady increase. What's happened now is that with our visitor spending on the rise, our ADRs are rising, which is an average daily rate, which is rising. And that has something to do with demand. Our occupancy actually is above what it was last year. So all things look like we're going to be at least hitting our numbers from last year, if not doing a little bit better. But we definitely can see a slight increase in our bed tax collection. The 25, 30% increases are probably not going to happen. What you typically see is a spike and then it levels and then possibly another spike in the near future. But it certainly does help that we are a destination for weddings, Legoland, sports tourism, film. All these things combined really brings a lot of visitors to our area.
One last follow-up. I just want to compliment you and your staff because you have come to us throughout the course of this year and in the past several years with so many data points to prove what at one time might be theories, but are actual provable facts, and I want to compliment you for that. In fact, you've convinced me, you got me over. At first, I was skeptical about the idea of film as an economic driver, and the data proves that, and I just want to compliment you for that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
More to
Now,
come
if
on
you
that.
got a hotel in Cutterbackville,
Wow, can't that. Thank you, and thank you, Chairman.
Very well. Legislator O'Donnell.
Yeah, this isn't on the budget, so I ran into Megan Taylor and David Mistretta. David runs Woodbury Commons and Megan's a VP up at World Resorts. And then we were talking about Stewart Airport, which unbeknownst to me, besides the Stewart Airport Commission, there's a separate group that meets just with Port Authority. Do
Yes,
you go to those?
I do go.
That's all I want to know. Okay, thank you.
I was at that meeting as well.
It's a committee.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Hearing anything else, all in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And for the agenda, we have Rachel Wilson, Director of the Youth Bureau for the 2024 budget review. Those are pages 438 and 450 in your booklet. May I have a motion in a second? Benega?
I'll make a second.
And Vegio, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
I'd like to introduce Sue Ambrosino. She's my fiscal person who put all the numbers together for us.
Glad you're here. Ready when you are. You have
So
the floor.
thank you for your time. There's two significant changes in the budget. One is increasing our revenue and expense lines for contracted services to our funded programs. That's due to increases in state funding, so good things. Additional youth sports and education program funding. And then the newest is team sports funding. So with more of that state funding coming in, we will have more programs that we'll be contracting with. The other change is a request to fill a vacant position for a youth program technician. What I'm proposing to do is reinvesting county taxation that I've put towards 2 consultants over the years, which has kind of given me little piecemeals. Also, no longer having an awards luncheon for the County Executives Awards Program. We've heard a lot of positive feedback from the new venue at SUNY Orange. It's free for all participants. It's free because we don't pay for lunches. And so I'd like to reinvest that county taxation into a new full-time position, filling that vacant one. And by having that vacant position do a lot of direct service, we are bringing in additional state funding with some of the shifting with some programs that fit sports and education categories. I can shift them over to that funding source, which frees up our youth development program funding from the state. And I would like to put that towards that position. So I did give a breakdown, I believe it's page, I have it right here, because I have a different number. Page 439 for you, where there's the talk about the new position. It basically explains, I'd like to do a lot more direct service. It allows me to divide up the caseload of the programs that we monitor now between 3 youth program technicians. It also allows me to maximize the impact of my newest youth program technician who has an MSW. She's sitting in the back, Melissa. We will be partnering with mental health if possible to do more internship opportunities for mental health related interns. So that would be exciting. She can take on more of a coordinated role. She is the Runaway Homeless Youth Coordinator, so she can bring together the homeless liaisons in a more coordinated effort from all the schools and work with the county departments and agencies that are serving runaway homeless youth. The new position would, in addition to doing program monitoring, would also be trained so we can do more Safe School Ambassador trainings. We can do more youth mental health first aid trainings. We can do more strengthening families coordination with Cornell Cooperative Extension also in the room. So I'm very excited. It gives me an opportunity to keep doing what we're doing, but at a higher level, and expanding our efforts for work readiness, volunteerism, civic engagement with our outreach for fire, EMS, and medical reserve corps volunteers. This person would be dedicated to that, where I've been working with consultants, getting just a few hours a week here and there. So I think it's a really good investment. I don't know if it was sent out yesterday. I emailed my little chart, basically saying what I've done for my first 2 decades here. And you see it goes up. The first decade was under Carol Chichester, and then the next one was with me. And then I'd like to continue my next decade expanding more. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Any questions? Legislative says.
Rachel, what happens if you lose the $33,810 covered by state funding?
Then I would have to revisit what we're giving out to the programs and perhaps hold some of that
I
back.
trust you, I just don't trust the state.
The sports and education funding is the strongest category right now because that's tied to legislation for sports gambling. So for the next few years, they have to have $5 million dedicated to our system.
For 5 years.
The other funding, I will say, since I've been here, the overall state funding has decreased by 65%. But our platform now is to keep it at least status quo. And we got some bumps, so some increases with past advocacy. This next budget year, we're going in to say at least keep us status quo. And the governor's office has looked at our system and seen the value. They've asked our system to run their governor's youth council. And Orange County does the coordination for the regional. That brings $8,000 into the budget for that. We're also working very closely with their team sports funding and how to go through the county processes, but still meet what the state is looking for. So nothing's a guarantee, but I feel like we're in a pretty good position to have that 33,000. Even if it means less funding to some programs or one program, I feel the investment is worth it because we'll get a lot from the position.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a comment, so your chart only goes back to fiscal year 19 on page 450. So I know that it's been a long time since you had an increase in staff,
Yes,
so at least 5 years according to this.
yes.
So it'll be money well spent. Thank you.
I've been the director now for 10 years. It's been since before that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More of a comment. I just wanted to thank you for your leadership and the work dedicated to you throughout the county. I know in the city of Newburgh, I hear, tidbits of how you're impacting the youth in our community. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. very
Yeah,
much.
and I look forward to seeing how the additional position can really help more of the direct service initiatives. So thank you.
And we are hoping to do regional mini academies. We're going to steal the sheriff's department's Explorers program model. And we're
Nice.
working with some fire departments that have similar models, but we'd like to break the county up into regions so that transportation
That
is
would be
less of an
really
issue
cool.
for mini ones, not year round.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. Thank you.
Chairwoman Bonelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rachel, I just want to recognize you and applaud you. Having the budget impacts as part of the budget book and explaining exactly what you want to do. There's no doubt in my mind that you are a very good steward of the Youth Bureau and you work very carefully. You just don't take, well, this is the way we do things. You are constantly staying on top of things and trying to keep with various different trends, just like you were explaining the different academies you're doing, and getting involved with emergency services. You're forever forward thinking, and I think you're a true asset to the county, and I enjoy working with you. You've done a great job, and this budget definitely demonstrates that.
Thank you. And definite credit to my team. They keep me excited and
Yes, you do have a
motivated
good
and
team as well.
they question my mentality sometimes, but they make it happen and then they say, oh, that's what you meant. So thank you to my team. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments? I'd like to thank you for what you do as well. And having said that, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for your time.
Next up, item 5, Joanna Poor, historian for the 2024 budget review. There are pages 451 through 458 in your packet. Welcome, Joanna. How are you? Motion and second by Joan. That's negative. Thank you.
So as you know, this one's a pretty easy one. We, in our office, reach 150,000 people a month. And with the exception of April of 2023, when we worked with NPR and reached 12 million listeners just in the month of April. So we are also a small and mighty department. It's just myself and Nicole Mazzaro. She's on maternity leave at the moment. And so as you look at the budget, you will see that the increases are solely based on that change. She's now married with a child, so therefore the personal services have gone up. Otherwise, we're not asking for any changes. We do have a study in the works right now currently, a $50,000 study to look at the collections situation in the county. So across multiple departments, there are historical collections that need care. And we're working on a study to look at how that could best be served. It's an outgrowth of Jeff Berkman's project for historical collections committee that we have that Rob Sassy serves on. So we hope we'll be able to come back next year with some recommendations about how we can better care for our historical collections in the county.
Thank you, Joanna. Are there any questions, comments?
Just a comment, if I can add to that, I mean, as Joanna said, they're a department of two, so they're stretched very thin over there. And the county has tremendous amounts of resources. Collections are many of them, correct me if I'm wrong, are donations from folks. And I mean, if you go over there, which I highly encourage you all to do, I mean, there's so many things, but it would just take a ton of people, a lot of time to put it in order. So the 50,000 was appropriated to look at that and how can we better take those collections and preserve them. So Joanna and Nicole do the best they can, but they do need a lot of help in that area.
Thank you. Legislator, excuse me, Chairwoman Benelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 456, I believe under consulting services, the $65,000 that's been appropriated there. Is that where the 50,000 is?
Yes, that's where the money will be spent, will be paid out soon to the consultant who's working on it now.
So there are monies to be spent down in 2023,
Yes.
because that's just a minimal amount that was in there. And would it probably be a little bit closer to the 50 than we did in 2022?
Yeah, there'll be a few other things that we need to clean up towards the end of the year. A lot of our historical programming happens in the summer, so it doesn't always get
Right.
reflected in the budget right away.
No,
So-
I understand that. I was just wondering ballpark and how close we were gonna come.
Yeah, we'll try to. We never fully spend our budget. I mean, there's a couple of reasons why. One is that we've had money put into the budget for collections care, because sometimes you don't know if something's going to, you know, if we're gonna have moisture in the basement and then we suddenly need something for collections. So sometimes the money is put into the budget as a precaution and then it doesn't get spent in the end. So that does happen sometimes where there's a gap.
Understandable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Anyone else? Thank you for all that you do keeping Orange County's history alive. With that said, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Nicole Anderson, Director of Community Development, for a request to authorize the county executive to submit the fiscal year 2024 annual action plan and application for federal assistance to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the purposes of applying for, accepting, and appropriating federal funds for the Community Development Block Grant Program and the Home Investment Partnerships Program. CBDG, $1,690,885.33. The Home Program, $1,262,000, $1,262,169. Legislative request 272. May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Sassy and Benega. Welcome, you have the floor, Nicole.
Thank you. First, I want to introduce Brenda Luciano. She is our fiscal director.
Welcome.
So this is just the resolution we pass every year to approve for us to submit our action plans ahead. And I had sent along a description of what is included in the action plan. And that's about it. If you have any questions.
Questions, comments from the legislature? Hearing none. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you so much. Item number 2, or excuse me, B, which is the 2024 budget review. That can be found on pages 49 through 59. May I have a motion and a second? Thank you very much.
Okay. So our budget this year is pretty similar to last year. We did go down one position. We're still thinking about what we're going to do with that. We run an extremely tight ship because, as you know, we don't have any taxation in our department. And I've, trying to remain committed to that. But it is very difficult. We're 6 people administering over $20 million of federal funding. And it's not for simple projects. It's, Davis-Bacon construction projects and affordable housing development with many other lenders involved. We keep ourselves extremely busy, but we do a lot of great work. And that's about it. So we're exploring, we're looking at software too, and just seeing other ways that maybe we could streamline our work a little more before we look at hiring for that position, just due to concerns about, long-term costs of positions.
Thank you. I will agree. It would be great work that is needed. Are there any questions from the legislators? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Next up, Lucy Joyce, Executive Director for Cornell Cooperative Extension for the 2024 budget review. They are pages number 464 through 472 in your packet. May I have a motion and a second? Ramos and Shalanda. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Good afternoon. As you can, Lucy couldn't
You're not
be
Lucy
here.
Joyce.
Lucy couldn't be here today. I do want to introduce Tom Manza, part of our Board of Directors, Susie McCormick, Program Leader for 4-H and Family Consumer Sciences, and Mary Ann on our side. From our Finance Department, I'm Mary Ulrich. I'm the Ag Program Leader. First off, I want to thank you all for your perennial generosity in this area of our budget. We did ask for 8%. We are more than happy with the county executive's 6% increase because we got some money for our gleaning program. The big bump was because we hadn't gotten money for HIPNAP, Hunger Prevention Nutrition Assistance Program, which primarily supports the gleaning program, but a member item came through and we're getting a little chunk from the food bank through that. And so that's going to make up some of that, as well as we got some significant additional funding from foundation to help sort of patch for this year. So we are very happy with the 6%.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
Can I say a few things?
Yes, you may.
Okay, my name's Tom Manza. Been on the board just under 2 years, and I just have to say they do a tremendous job staffing. Susie being one, and Mary and Mary Ann. I was blown away by all of how much they cover with the many programs. We had a day where the board got together with the new board members and had orientation, and they all came out, and like 6 hours later with all the programs. I thought it was just 4-H and helping farmers, but they do so much for families. It's increasing every year, and so many people in this county are helped, people that really do need the help most, and the programs are just tremendous. So my vantage point, again, my specialty was always farming. I operated as a farm for many years, but to get involved with this, it was incredible. And we have a great board, Paul being one of the board members, and we have people from all walks of life in the board, and we are there all the time, and we have a good group that oversees things, and it's been a smooth ride. So I think whatever the monies are well spent, and it's been very good, positive experience.
We do have a little handout for you folks that Kelly's got that'll go in your mailboxes. Sort of, touches on the tip of the iceberg for several programs, but has some dollars on it to show you the return on investment that the county gets for the 1.9 request.
And I'd like to
Thank you
just
for
add
sharing your comments. Yes.
that in the handout that we provided, I just wanted to talk about two of our programs that are celebrating anniversaries this year. It shows the longevity and the continued relevance of our programming in Orange County, and that is our Relatives as Parents program is celebrating 25 years. So that's supporting kinship families, youth, and caregivers to be able to stay together, even though biological parents might not be able to take care of the children, and the importance of that family connection. And the other program is celebrating a significant anniversary, is 4-H celebrating 100 years. So that's quite a big deal for us in the county. And recently we had an alumni event at our fair where we had 160 4-H alumni come back and talk about the importance of 4-H in their lives and where it's helped them.
Thank you for sharing. Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Manza, for those comments. Can I ask you how long you've been on the board?
Just under 2 years.
Well, thank you for your service and stepping up to the plate. We appreciate it. Thank you.
No other comments, questions? All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you Monday.
Yes. Last item on the agenda, we have Mr. Stephen Gross, Director of Economic Development for the 2024 budget review for economic development, pages 477 through 485 in your packet. May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Joan and Ramos.
The coffee's not working.
Director, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. I haven't been here in a while. I'd like to come back maybe next month when you have a little bit more time and give a presentation, a little update on the summit that we had recently, show you our video and talk about some of the accomplishments we've had in the last few months, quite a few going on. So talking about that, we'd like to just talk about today's budget. It's a general budget that we put in place. We're looking at some issues with respect to contracts. Last year, we put in a proposed position. We did not fill that position. We used those funds to supplement the video that we put together this year and put together the summit. One change in the budget is a new position that we're looking to put in. It's an EDT director. It's been in the budget for many, many years. And under the advice of the Human Resources Department, we're putting that position in because it's a position that's been on the books in this department in the past.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Item number B, 2024 budget review for the foreign trade zone, and that's pages 486 and 489 of your packet. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
Joan? Thank you.
This is a basic administrative budget for the foreign trade zone. We had some activity this year. Finley's Fall Timbers was added into the foreign trade zone, a new addition. In May, we had a webinar, first time in many years, and first time in about 5 years, we actually had an FTZ board meeting. So this is a small administrative budget, works with the other budget that we have in play to administer the foreign trade zone.
Okay. Questions or comments on this side?
Yeah, just,
Legislator
so I
Sims.
know you mentioned that foreign trade zone had kind of been asleep there for a few years, so
Yep.
I'm glad to hear there's a little bit of activity on that. And just also to thank you again, the Economic Summit, for those of us who were attending, was really, really great presentation and a lot of very informative information.
Thank you, Mr. Sassy. And we've got a lot of good feedback as a result of the summit. The entire summit's available online on the county YouTube page, as well as the county economic development page. If anybody wants to watch it, we encourage you sign into the county website and have fun.
You know, there's been so much positive feedback on that. I thought you brought it to this board because it's been talked about so much.
There you
It
go.
was absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
Great presentation, and I can't believe how well we are doing as a county.
Much
Thank you
appreciated.
for bringing that. I'd be very happy to have you bring that presentation to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got that one
right.
guys. All right.
Yay. There we go. Thank you all very much for your time today.